movie review, and I'm so excited to do this review because I just recently finished watching for the very first time the third and prequel to the first two Emily Blunt, John Krasinski's A Quiet Place franchise, and I'm talking about on 4K A Quiet Place Day One, which stars Lupita Nyong'o in the title role in this movie, and Damien Jimon Honsu as well, and Alex Wolf also starring this intense thriller or horror sci-fi. And the way it ended, I almost think there's going to be a Quiet Place 4, or it's going to continue pretty much as a prequel of A Quiet Place Day One. Like, I really want them to call the next movie, if they make another one, which I'm hoping they do, and I want it to be called A Quiet Place Day Two. Like, I want it to continue on with the actors in A Quiet Place Day One. Needless to say, I would love to see a crossover movie between the prequels and then go back to the sequels of where the movie ended with A Quiet Place 2. I'd love to see a movie again with Emily Blunt and John Krasinski in another Quiet Place movie. And then I'd love to see the cast from A Quiet Place Day One in a film that I reckon should be called A Quiet Place Day Two. That's personally my fucking thoughts and opinions. Now let's start with everything I loved about A Quiet Place Day One. The start of the movie, the way it started, that opening scene with Lupita Nyong'o was amazing. I absolutely love her acting, whether she's in horror films or Marvel movies. She's just an extraordinary actress, and I really liked her character, and I really liked the other actor in the movie, and I felt that it was very similar to, obviously, the other Quiet Place movies. Like, I didn't even mind that Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are not in the third Quiet Place movie, like that this one is a prequel, more or less, before the first two Quiet Places. And you still see a majority of the monsters still. But in my personal opinion, you see more monsters, there's more thrillers, there's more jump scares, in my personal opinion, and it's an M horror. To me, this M horror had a lot more jump scares than even the first two A Quiet Place movies, and I love the original Quiet Place. That started a awesome monster franchise of a very quiet movie that didn't have a lot of dialect, but it had some dialect, and the second movie pretty much continued on from the first movie, and it had some dialect, but it was very quiet as well, but it had a little bit more dialect than probably the first original A Quiet Place 2. I love those two movies, but the third one, I think I love even more. It was an incredibly awesome fucking movie. And the way it ended with that monster coming out onto the street and then it going to the end credits, wow, that ending with another monster was absolutely amazing. And when it went to the end credits, that was awesome. The only negative I probably have, I wanted a post-credit scene. I personally wanted a post-credit scene, not only before the credits rolled, but I wanted like a post-credit scene straight after a few of the credits, and then when all the credits ended, like after a good 10 solid minutes, when I fast forwarded onto my Xbox towards to see if there was anything, there was nothing, but I really wish there was. Like, I still think there's going to be another one. Now, if there isn't, then we're kind of left on a cliffhanger, but I still definitely feel they will be another Quiet Place movie. I want many, many more of these movies, and I love them. I think they are awesome. Like I said, if the next one is titled anything, if there is a future Quiet Place movie, please call it A Quiet Place Day 2. And if they make another one with the same actress from A Quiet Place Day 1, or if they made the movie A Quiet Place Day 2, then call the next one A Quiet Place Day 3. Or if they want to go back to and do a sequel to how A Quiet Place Part 2 ended, then do A Quiet Place Part 3. But this movie is absolutely phenomenal. And don't you just love the action-packed front cover of this 4K movie? It's absolutely phenomenal. And yes, I'm going to read you a little bit of what it says on the back of this 4K movie as well. It's just a mind-blowing movie. I loved every moment of it. In fact, to me, this had more action than the original first two movies. To me, they had a lot of action, and they were fighting off monsters in A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. But in my personal opinion, A Quiet Place Day 1 was even more of an action thriller horror movie. Obviously, it's not going to scare everyone. To me, it's a horror film with a bit of thriller and a bit of action and sci-fi. Some people might judge me on saying that, and some people might have different opinions, and some people might call the Quiet Place movies not a horror movie. Some people might just call it a sci-fi monster movie or a thriller. But to me, it has some definite moments that are quite scary as well. Your heart will pound out of your chest. It definitely bloody will. It did. It definitely did. This movie definitely made my heart pound out of my chest. That's how fucking incredible it was. And in saying that, Experience the Day the World Went Quiet, one of the best films of the year. Well, that is correct. When this movie came out, it obviously would have been one of the best films of the year. In fact, I kind of wish that my girlfriend liked the first two movies. Like, I was so disappointed when I missed out on seeing the third one at the cinema. And in fact, now that I've watched A Quiet Place Day 1 on 4K, I still feel that way. Seeing this on an even bigger screen TV than my TV at home, which is a pretty big screen TV as well, would have been absolutely amazing. Seeing this movie at the cinema would have been a huge ass treat. But unfortunately, I missed out on seeing the third one at the movies, but I kind of wish I had. It's a blockbuster of a movie, whether you're eating popcorn or having a glass of cordial or having a nice beer, or you're watching this movie over dinner. This movie suits watching of an evening, and it suits watching any other time of day too. And I cannot wait to eventually rewatch A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Originally, I was going to do was I was going to originally rewatch A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 on 4K, and then I was going to watch A Quiet Place Day 1. So I was going to do a bit of a marathon, but I still reckon I will eventually come back to this movie and do said marathon that I'm talking about and watch all three movies in one day, because it's an amazing movie, and I will definitely be keeping this copy of A Quiet Place Day 1. When Samira Lupita Nyong'o returns home to New York City, her simple trip turns into a harrowing nightmare when mysterious creatures that hunt by sound attack. Yes, they hunt by sound, which is pretty much what happened in the original Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Accompanied by her cat Frodo and an unexpected ally, Joseph Quinn, Samira must embark on a perilous journey Who the city that has suddenly gone silent, where the only rule is to stay quiet, to stay alive. Jimon Hunsu and Alex Wolff also star in this intense thriller featuring visceral scores and epic action scenes. That is absolutely correct. They hit the nail on the head when they said that on the 4K DVD. Don't you just love, again, like I said before, the front cover? And the back cover of this movie is absolutely awesome as well. Needless to say, I would have loved to have a steelbook version of A Quiet Place Day One, but I still love the original 4K DVD and the copy I do have of A Quiet Place Day One, which is the third A Quiet Place movies. And this movie I'm going to treasure and treasure for the rest of my life. In fact, to me, the original Quiet Place, A Quiet Place Part 2, and now that I've seen A Quiet Place Day One, it is a instant classic. And I'm going to be very biased in saying it might be even my favorite Quiet Place movie of all time so far. And that's me pretty biased. And in ending this review, I'm going to be giving A Quiet Place, the third Quiet Place movie, A Quiet Place Day One on 4K, from the fact that I sat there the whole entire time watching this movie. I enjoyed myself, and I even wish the movie had gone longer. I, in fact, still wish I was watching the movie. I wish it had have gone 2.5 hours instead of your solid 80 to 90 minutes. Like, it's still a great movie with the time that it had on it, but I wanted it to go even longer. That's how good this one is. And in saying that, I'm going to be giving A Quiet Place Day One a massive 13.5 out of 10 star rating. It's a phenomenal movie. If you haven't got it yet, please grab yourself a copy of this movie and watch it over and over and over again, and talk about it to your loved ones, and talk about it to friends. And if people haven't seen the original and the second one, it's time they do. And it's time they watch A Quiet Place Day One as well. Until then, I'll see you in another video. Take care for now, and have a good night.